19-game winning streak on the line here for the A's. The front runners in the American League West right now 3-0.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Small Market Baseball. I'm your host, Jaiman White. Joined with me today, the distinguished, the individual, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, Cameron Holland. How you doing, bud?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. This is new for us, certainly super new for Holland. Just the two of us today, two talking heads that we're going to talk about ball. We're going to have a great time doing it. So, yeah. Also, happy St. Patrick's Day. Did you celebrate it all, Holland?
I did not. It is Ramadan.
Kyrie dropped 48 points and had no food or water in his system. So,
he's him.
Pretty incredible. I don't know how he does
that
it.
Game winner, too.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it. But we're here to talk baseball, as we all know. Small Market Baseball, your new favorite baseball podcast. Birds of a Feather talk ball together. That's what we're doing today. And we're pushing towards the start of the regular season. It's been a great spring between Florida and Arizona. Had a lot of fun paying attention to those games. And it's just, got me thinking about, why we talk about the game, why we love it, why we do what we do, because there's so many great players to watch, so many great teams to pay attention to. So this is going to be a fun episode. We're just going to chop it up, talk simple stuff, go back to basics. So Holland's my ball guy at work. I told him I like to keep on a special kind of character on hand that just knows ball. Just at the drop of a hat, I know I can call. And he's like, yeah, I got you. So that's his role today. And we're going to have fun talking ball. So, Holland, I'll introduce the first topic to you, something that shouldn't be too difficult for you to talk about because you love ball and you know ball and you spend a lot of time involved in ball. Also, just wanted to shout out underrated aspect of baseball is playing in company softball games. And we just participated in an absolute barn burner on Friday. Cameron Holland is also in the Air Force with me and DG, who couldn't be here today. And we had our team go against another team in our shop. It was absolutely electric. Holland, if you could just give us a quick breakdown of the action that we experienced on Friday.
Basically, we went out there and backed up our words, man. We were ready to hit some balls, and boy oh boy did we do it, especially the second game. But played what was it, 32 before somebody lost count?
It was 32 points that we put up, yeah.
Yeah, we killed it.
Killed it. So the next time you're at your company function, they're like, hey, we're playing softball, take it seriously, because you could have big more victories like us. And I'm going to be talking about it for at least the next month. And my knee will be as well. So, be a constant reminder of what it's like to put up 32 runs on someone, you know what I'm saying? Inside the park home run, dude. Just saying.
Hey,
slow people out there.
Man.
It's just a lot of slow people out there, obviously, if they're letting me and Holland score home runs.
Two of the slowest guys.
Yeah. Running in jeans, baby. So, enough of that. Take your company softball game serious. It's a good time. They do it for you. But we're talking about the players, dude. We just went through our fantasy draft yesterday, picking the best players available to build our team around. But, that's all good and well. Let's talk about some of our favorite players. And we broke it into two portions today. Broke it into our favorite players to watch or learn about or whatever growing up, and then our favorite players to watch now. Obviously, I'm a Pirates fan, so I got some Pirates bias. Holland's a Yankees fan, does not shy away from the pinstripe. So I'll hand it over to you and let you kick it off for us.
So I have a few names. The first one, obviously, I mean, it's hard to ignore growing up a Yankees fan, Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter, most
I mean,
overrated player ever, according to some.
allegedly. I mean, there's not much else to say about him. Everybody already knows it's Derek Jeter. But
Yeah.
the one that I actually recall really enjoying watching for some reason, because I wasn't like cognitively aware that he was like good or not. I just love watching Nick Swisher play baseball.
Nice.
I just remember him playing for the Yanks, and he was like on my favorite team of all time with like Mark Teixeira and Cano, guys like that. But yeah, there wasn't really anything about him that really was like, wow, but he was just a fun guy to watch.
Yeah,
Had good,
that's a locals kind of player.
yeah. And I vaguely remember him playing for the A's, and I'm glad he went to the Yanks. But other than him, though, since I was just raised in Ohio, I saw a lot of Tigers and Indians, but I didn't really ever care about the Indians. But I do remember really watching Prince Fielder play for the Tigers.
Nice. Yeah.
It was,
Prince Fielder's a stud.
Yeah, he was a unit. Faster than most.
Yeah. And so I guess geographically, you said you didn't pay attention at all to Cleveland. Didn't pay attention at all to Cincinnati, I'm guessing.
No, no one cared about Cincinnati prior to
No Joey
the last few
Votto
years.
fans, dude?
I mean, you'd see one or two, but they weren't real. They weren't real gung ho about, oh yeah, I'm a Reds fan. No. If anybody was a fan of a certain team, it was in Ohio. It was definitely Cleveland. Especially they had a pretty good team when they had CC and a few other guys. But most everybody I knew was a Tigers fan, just because they were relevant and had some players at one point. But like Verlander and Scherzer at one point. They had David Price. I mean, that team, they were stacked. They should have won a World Series, and I think they showed why having a bullpen is really important.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I guess pivoting off of that too. So obviously you're a diehard Yankees fan. How did that come out? Was that your dad's influence or someone in your family, or?
Yeah, so my dad was born in New York and then was raised in LA, but he was always a Yankees fan. So just every time I was just like, before I even cared about baseball, I just knew that the Yankees, it was like the only choice I had. But I'm diehard about them, even though people will look at you and be like, you're from Ohio and you're a Yankees fan. It's like, hey, that's how I was raised, man. I don't know.
Yeah, at least it's a legitimate thing. You're like, yeah, it's my dad's favorite team or whatever, not just like, oh yeah, like I love, X, Y, and Z and whatever, and just jumped on the bandwagon. No one will ever accuse you of being a bandwagon fan if you like the Tigers, though. So
that is true. I use them as my second team, just so I have, when I'm not being mad about the Yankees, I can be mad about the Tigers. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
On that topic, this has been, I wasn't going to do this. This is off track. This is off the script. This is not a part of what we have going on today. I got flamed at work. Not flamed, but, I was accused of being a bad baseball fan because I like two teams. And I pointed out the Pirates are my favorite team. That's not going to change.
Right.
And the other team I like is not any good. They don't play in the same league as the Pirates. Yeah. I like the Athletics,
Yeah.
And I think I'm just a fan of baseball. When we have not been good enough to care about who we're playing. No one in the division, really no one in the National League anyway, but I just like baseball, dude. All right, there's some teams I pay attention to. I'm like, I liked watching the Angels and the past couple years they had, and now I don't, because now they got no one that I really care about watching. But
like, trout's fun, but Stroud's fun, but he'll end up playing 80 games, and then you'll forget that the Angels are even a team again. So
right, yeah, not the Los Angeles team that everyone is tuning into this year. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how someone could call you a bad fan though for liking two teams when, like, I don't know. A lot of people are more player oriented. Like, a guy's gonna go out there and he's gonna like Shohei, but is he an Angels fan? No. Now he's a Dodgers fan. Whatever. Yeah. So it's the same way with a lot of players like that. And just like the more random guys pop in and start performing, the more they get fans. Like, I guarantee you, 5 years ago there weren't as many Orioles fans as there are now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and it'll be the same way with the Pirates if they somehow luck into being good, and Paul Skeens is really good, but
it's gonna be a lot of luck, dude. It's gonna be a lot of luck. All right.
Yeah, I better hope, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's gonna be a good year. And on that topic, some players that I enjoyed growing up. One, like the first like memory I have of a player, I would say, is every year growing up in Pittsburgh, we'd have Roberto Clemente Day, and we'd have like our hour in the library or whatever, and we'd read the like Clemente children's book and that whole story. So he's always been one of my favorites. I mean, he's one of everyone's favorites in Pittsburgh and in Puerto Rico and all the various places that he was able to impact the community. So love Roberto. And my grandparents also really love Willie Stargell. He was a great guy as well, on and off the field. And I loved his play style. He was just able to rake balls in. And then when he got old, he went and played first base, and he did that great too. And then from there, like, I remember I was on the bus, and this dude I might have had a DS myself, a Nintendo DS. And I've never played the show before. And I can't remember if it was even the show, but it was an MLB game on the DS. And I was the Yankees, and they had Ichiro.
Ooh, yeah.
And Ichiro is one of my favorite players ever, too, because I've had, oddly enough, like a huge outside influence from Japanese culture in my life. My dad worked at Benihana for years and was a bartender there and a corporate member there, going on tours and whatever for the company. So a lot of his friends are Japanese. A lot of our family friends are Japanese. So I love Ichiro to death. And then, of course, the guys that made Pirates baseball exciting again, McCutchen, who was a stud. I remember he came in with the dreads and won the NL MVP, and it was just so exciting. But, of course, me being me, I was like, I can't say my favorite player is McCutchen. That's everyone's favorite player. So I loved Starling Marte as well. Yeah.
Met, right?
Yeah. Yep. Met and various other stops he's been around. I've always kind of tried to pay attention to him. Fell a little out of love with him when he failed a drug test for PEDs, but these things happen,
You're not cheating, you're not trying.
I like when guys can hit a baseball just a little bit farther, They're not killing anyone except for that poor ball, so. But those are guys who made an impact on me as I was growing up and becoming a fan, so those are guys I enjoyed watching 100%.
I would say I wasn't even thinking, like, I was only thinking in my lifetime, but if I just had to throw a couple names out that I've really enjoyed watching old highlights of recently, is I can name two that I really love right now, is Whitey Ford.
Yeah.
Old Yankee dude. I actually have his card right here. Keep it on my PC. But
nice.
And then other than that, Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, well, I know Nolan Ryan's your dude, right?
Yeah.
We were just I was just out the other day and I picked up a jersey for opening day. Stay tuned for that. And I saw that Nolan Ryan, like I don't even know what you call it, the different colored striped jersey, the white jersey. I was like, that's so classic. Like Nolan Ryan was a killer. And I always see people debate like, no, there's no way Nolan Ryan would be able to pitch in today's game. He was throwing like 104 miles per hour, dude. I think he'd do just fine. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, for real. It's like
And
saying, I mean, like, I don't know. I hate when people say that argument about. Actually just saw one. Someone was comparing Babe Ruth and Bonds, and they're like, Babe Ruth played today. He'd get killed by. He would see one Randy Johnson pitch and he'd have a stroke. I'm like, what? Oh shoot! I mean, like that's just his era. Can't really blame him for playing in a time when guys were 6'7", pumping 104 past you. I mean,
yeah, right. I always saw. I think it was Pete Rose, who obviously is one of the best hitters of all time, if not the best. The hitters, they translate. You know, the good hitters, they will translate. So if there was a time machine, we could bring Babe Ruth in and be like, "Hey, dude, go up against Otani or someone like that." You know, like get him in there against Paul Skeens, who touched 102, like 3 pitches in a spring breakout. You know, who knows? But yeah, I mean, all great players. And I wanted to shout out too because I have more Ken Griffey Jr. jerseys than I know what to do with. So insanely popular. Love watching his highlights, and also just a good dude. So
man, the kid.
so the kid, the best. I guess you can't really be called the kid when you're 45. Like I always wonder, like, are they going to change Sidney Crosby's nickname? Maybe they just don't say the kid as much anymore because he's like 35. But I don't know.
I don't know. The Penguins beat my Red Wings today, so I don't really want to comment on hockey right now.
But I had no idea. But I'm happy regardless.
I think it was like 7-2. So
Sounds like a good game to me, dude. Of course, a lot of those guys have since gone and are no longer playing the game. Obviously, Kutch and Marte are still playing. And I love watching Kutch play. I'm so happy he's back on the Pirates. That was a big deal last year. Even though we didn't do too hot, it was nice to have him back on the team. But as far as players you enjoy watching now, Holland, who's a guy you're going to wake up on Saturday morning for, you're like, I got to go watch this matchup.
I will always try to watch Shohei play because that's like, I don't know. You're never going to see anything like that again. Yeah. But I definitely gravitate a lot towards some of the Japanese players. I'm really excited to watch Yamamoto pitch this year.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of Imananga. Imananga? I don't know. The Cubs, Shota, whatever.
Yeah.
I just think that he's like average. Not like he's good, but
yeah,
he's just. I think he's going to have a lot of problems pitching to guys that have a lot of power because Japan, that's not really, you're hitting for contact over there.
Right.
But guys, other than those dudes, I'll always watch Judge play. As frustrating as he is with his injuries now, Judge, and Volpe is the only other real Yankee that gets me excited, except I just remembered we have freaking Juan Soto. So
yeah.
that's a nice thing to have. But yeah, I mean, other than those guys, it's mostly just prospects I'm excited for that may or may not be up this year. I really want to watch Skeens. I'm really excited to see Jackson Jobe for the Tigers. He was throwing 101, I think, in his spring breakout game.
Yeah, nice.
And then, but yeah, current guys, those few, and then I really love Tarek Skubal. So
nice.
Yeah, if you think he's my dark horse Cy Young candidate. So
all right, dude. Heck yeah. Yeah, no, I can't ignore any of those guys. I mean, Aaron Judge is a stud. Just had a post up on him, I think, last week. Been a lot of rough times for the Yankees as far as injuries go, so I hope he makes opening day. I know Garrett Cole's not going to now, but
yeah,
hopefully Judge can because I love watching him kill a baseball. Fresno State alum, shout out Felipe Flores, go Bulldog. And I agree with you. I love watching the Japanese talent come over and and show their stuff. I was actually just talking to Flo today about you, Darvish, and the Padres. They got a lot of guys I like watching play. Tatis is up there, obviously. Love watching Trout. Talked about him a little earlier. Just class act dude and just a great baseball player. It's a shame that he's as great as he is on this bad of a team for so freaking long. I love the loyalty, but at some point, dude, you got to think. Let's get a ring. Come on. I can't believe no playoffs at all with him and Ohtani. It blows my mind. But and again, I love Ohtani. I love Paul Skeens. I'm really looking forward to watching him come up. Quinn Priester is probably a guy I get more questions about these days than anyone else because I've been following him for 2 years now, almost. Maybe a little less, a little more, give or take. Ever since I've been writing for Buck's Dugout, that's been a prospect that I've been really high on, and I hope that he can make the jump. He came up last year, and he has a great 3 innings, and then has like a 9 ERA. So we'll see what he could do. I think he's been pitching lights out in spring training, so we'll see if he's the last guy in the rotation. Love Mookie Betts, obviously. Living with a Red Sox fan, I hear about Mookie plenty, and he's another Dodger, and another great guy. And O'Neal Cruz, who is back, looking better than ever, and is better than Ellie De La Cruz.
Well, he's also 2 years older than him.
Yes, doesn't matter, dude. I'm here to tell the people that there's been a lot of talks about how great Ellie De La Cruz is.
I want to make a joke about O'Neal right now, but I don't think I can.
You save that for after the podcast. Okay. O'Neal's great. He's gonna have a great season, and yeah, he's one of those dudes. And Ellie, like I'm not gonna sit here and knock Ellie. I don't love that he plays with the Reds, but he's a freak, and freak athletes are cool in baseball. They don't come around quite often like they do in other sports. So it's fun watching those dudes tear up a baseball, tear up the bases. So can't be mad at that.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised. Like I feel like it's just such a strange coincidence that, because O'Neal, he's what, 6'7"?
6'7".
Yeah, and so Ellie's 6'7" or 6'6", and they both huge dudes playing shortstop that are both unbelievably fast, and it's just crazy to me that we have 2 of the same archetype kind of guy.
This is part of the script. They were like, we're going to put them both in the NL Central. We're going to put them both in cellar-dwelling teams and just let them go at it.
Hey, well, they're bringing in fans for both teams. I mean, those guys are a big draw.
Absolutely.
I mean, even I couldn't care less about Cincinnati, but I found myself the other day looking up Ellie's spring training numbers just because I was like, I wonder what he's doing. So
underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. He was on my fantasy team last year, and I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then at the end of the year, he's batting 211 or whatever it was. I was like, oh.
These things happen.
I mean, luckily for him, he's 23. So he's got time on his side.
The Reds, I think, are actually going to be good. I think their rebuild is complete. I think they're ahead of schedule, and I think they're going to be just fine. Ellie De La Cruz is going to be fun to watch for a while.
Just need some pitching.
Yeah. I have my fantasy team here that we just drafted yesterday. I slept through most of it, but I'm excited. Some of the guys I got Bryce Harper on the team, got O'Neal Cruz, got Cody Bellinger. He's a Cub, but I love his game. Got Vlad Guerrero. That's another dude I love watching smash at baseball.
Cover athlete.
Have you been playing the game?
Oh, yeah.
Is it any better than last year?
It's pretty much the same exact game again. But
Okay. Well,
me and Instat were playing it the other day, and we got absolutely walloped playing 2v2s. So,
well, we can hope that it might get better. So, but it won't.
Yeah, I know.
It's a good thing we have NCAA 25 to look forward to.
I'm just afraid. I really don't want it to be like Madden.
It's not going to be. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of people not being able to show up to work because they spend all night playing college football. Moving on before we get down this rabbit hole, because we could talk college football all day as well, especially with this game coming out. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, pardon me, when we released the first episode. Did you watch the first episode?
I had it on in the background when I was cleaning one day.
Okay, sounds like you're a huge fan. I appreciate that. We touched on the Fanatics jersey controversy, which I'm sure you're hip to because you're a Jersey guy as much as anyone else I know.
Yep.
It's a shame what they're doing. I hate it. It's not cool. Especially because jerseys are a huge part of the sport. Obviously, it's the first thing anyone sees when they tune into a major league game or minor league game. I love the minor league jerseys as well. And for it being such a huge representation of the game, it's a shame to see that they've leaned on cheap instead of, being the best of the best like they should be. But with that being said, there's still a conversation piece, still something that people are going to go out there and be, hey, I got to get this Otani or I got to get this Yamamoto, whatever it may be. So we, again, having a little bit of fun. Holland, I'm gonna spin it to you. What are some of your favorite jerseys currently that teams are pulling out?
Okay, so I have two that okay, three, I guess. Just Yankees, whatever, pinstripes. Woo. But the ones that are really cool to me, the Marlins that from this year, they have like a teal kind of throwback looking one. That jersey is awesome. And especially I'm a huge Jazz Chisholm fan, so
I know you are.
I might have to get myself one. But that one, and then I think either this year's the last year or last season was, but the Nationals cherry blossom jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
Those are, it's a shame they have like not even one good player because I would get one otherwise. Yeah, those ones for sure.
Maybe you can get like a Kyle Kuzma Nationals jersey.
Yeah, I might have to do. They have some prospects, but I mean, I don't think they're going to play this year. So who cares? I will say that even though they're a division rival, I do love me the Orioles orange home jersey or alternate jerseys that they have. Just a huge fan of very vibrant colors. So
yeah, and those again more than ever because they have some great players coming up. Jackson Holiday has been just lights out. I think he's going to make the opening day roster. I think it'd be insane if he didn't. And I can't, again, this has nothing to do with baseball, just geographically. I can't root for anything Baltimore. Doesn't matter the sport, can't do it because of the Ravens, but that is a clean jersey. And I think they had my favorite, I think it was either the spring training hats or the batting practice hats. The one with just the Oriole on it with the white panel. I was like, that's just a clean look. I love it. I love orange. I love orange anyway. I think it's a great look. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. I also, again, I don't like the Yankees at all. I could go on forever how much I don't like the New York Yankees. But there's nothing better than pinstripe. Okay. That's the best look ever. It's 100% theirs, and there's a million teams trying to piggyback off it and make their own spin, which influenced my decisions in picking these jerseys because another one I love, and I might actually get this jersey when I complete my SoCal tour of baseball stadiums this year, is the Padres. Like desert tan, dark brown pinstripes. I think that's sweet.
Those, yeah. I was not a big fan of them when they first came out, but the more I see them, I think that's a sick jersey. And Tatis out there balling in that thing is just.
He makes it look good. Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, and just the San Diego brown and gold look that they go with for their normal home jerseys. Love them. I never thought brown would look so good.
I
on a
know.
jersey like that. But the brown, the gold, the whole thing, it's like I can't believe that's a team that used to have maybe the worst jerseys in all of baseball. I could
Not a
not
fan
stand
of
those.
the navy blue
No,
things they had.
no. They were terrible. And they didn't even have like the SD, like it just wasn't the same. I didn't like it. These new ones they got, they're here to stay, and I might have to get one.
Who are you gonna
And
get on it though? Darvish?
I think Darvish should be cool. There's definitely a lot of you Darvish jerseys hanging around. Tatis is a stud. But I'm terrible. I don't know how you feel about this, but I don't like buying current players' jerseys.
I'm pretty indifferent towards it. If anything, I like getting those like shirts that are they imitate the jerseys,
Yeah.
but it's just like a t-shirt. I have a couple of those, but it's like like current player jerseys, I just can't trust them because unless the guy signs a 15-year contract, I'm like,
Yeah,
can't
no,
trust him.
it's tough. Even like the current jerseys that I have, like I'm trying to think what I have. Like Kutch is the only Pirates jersey I have right now that he's a current player, and I'm pretty certain he's here to stay at this point. I have I have a Matisse Thybulle 76ers jersey. I haven't worn that one since he's been traded. I have a Malkin Penguins jersey. I think he's here to stay. So, but yeah, as far as current players go, I don't know who I'd get from the Padres. Maybe Darvish, just because he's I don't know, maybe settled in there. But
You could go crazy and get a Yuki Matsui jersey.
I could. I could. Yeah, I'll get a little crazy. I might just because I know they're cheap. I might go out and get an Ohtani Angels jersey, just
There you
because.
go. Yeah.
Why not? I think something that baseball has been doing more recently, better than ever, has been bringing back some of those throwback looks and having throwback jersey nights and whatever. So I picked a couple out that I love seeing. You kind of brought it up already, but the original Florida Marlins teal and black jerseys, iconic, top tier.
Yep.
Love the color on that. Love the Pirates gold that we would wear back in the day, like in the 70s. I heard you brought it up with Troy at work the other day. If you could have any jersey, what would you have? I've never seen one. I want a Doc Ellis gold Pirates jersey, and my fantasy baseball team name is Doc's LSD. So I would love that jersey because that's again, he's a great player and a great story. And underrated. I think it was like the 80s. There's just a string of like powder blue jerseys. I think there was like 5 or 6 teams that had powder blue jerseys. The Royals had them, the Cardinals, the Phillies. I think even the Cubs might have had a powder blue jersey, the Blue Jays. But the one that stands out to me the most,
The Expos.
The Expos, yes, sir. That powder blue with that M, like mustache-looking logo on the front with the red and blue piping. Yeah, I love it. If they ever brought back a team to Montreal, it should look just like that.
Maybe if they move the Rays, but I don't.
We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, apparently they just want to move everyone to Vegas and call it a day. So
That's what it seems like. So it feels like maybe they'll go to Orlando.
yeah, that's possible. I mean, like geographically, like I understand why no one goes to Rays games because it's like on a separate island basically, and there's a one-way entrance and a one-way exit, and that's the only way you can get to the stadium.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And we talked about this the last time we recorded. It's like they sneakily have a good team like every couple of years. They have a great team, but it's not a good fan experience. It's not a good organization. It's just Tampa Bay is just not the place for them.
Yeah.
Or at least not there. Yeah, absolutely. But if you had to also good throwback jersey, the Devil Rays.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Steve Irwin though. I don't like the Tampa Bay Rays. if you had to pick some throwback jerseys, who are you going with?
Like player wise or what?
Player wise, style wise, just whatever's on your mind. You're like, yeah, that's a great jersey.
See, it's tough for me because like the Yankees have had the same jerseys since the beginning of time,
Right.
but it also actually makes it okay when like if you went out and you got number 24 Yankees jersey.
Yeah.
A year ago it was or a couple years ago, it was Gary Sanchez. And now he's gone. You're like, well, now I'm stuck with this stupid jersey 24. Now it's Alex Verdugo. So
Right. Yeah, you're
it's
good.
like, hey, well, multi-purpose. So like, I don't know. Like my favorite jersey I own in general is that Nolan Ryan,
Yeah.
Astros throwback. I mean, just weird, funky colors on it. I mean, you can't go wrong. Other than that, this is going to sound strange, but I really like the purple jerseys that the Diamondbacks used to have.
Ooh. No, that's not strange at all, dude. That's not strange at all. Watching
Yeah.
Randy Johnson destroy a bird, dude. Heck yeah. Those are great.
Those are sick. Those are sick. Other than that, nothing really comes to mind, but I did see a thread on Twitter the other day that was highlighting those 90s jerseys that were like the vests where the
Oh,
sleeves
yeah.
were separate. I was like the ones that they had back then were pretty garbage, but I'd like to see at least somebody bring them back. You know, I'd like to see a good
Yeah.
vest every once in a while.
Yeah, we wore those in high school. We had the vest jerseys, which I thought were weird. I didn't like them at all, but
Yeah.
and I know which ones you're talking about too. It was like the turn back the clock or turn ahead the clock series or something.
Yeah.
It was like the
Yeah.
start of the 2000s. And yeah, some of them were just god awful. Well, all of them were god awful. But
I do remember one of them like might have been like the Mets or something, but they had rebranded to like Saturn when
yeah,
they made those. It's like what?
yeah. The Mariners had like a maroon thing going on. I don't know what that was about. Yeah, the Mets were bad. I'm trying to think of some other ones, but the
I
Pirates
think
was
Colorado
all
had
red.
one.
It was weird. Not good.
Yeah, bad idea. Bad idea.
Yeah, whoever's idea that was, they were probably released shortly after from their duties. But yeah, not good.
I'm not sure which one was more controversial, that one or the Fanatics garbage fest that's going on right now.
The Fanatics, they have a chance to make them go away still. They
They
could be
do.
like, hey, we messed up. We're going to give the players what they want. We're going to give the fans what they want. So we can only hope for that. The turn ahead the clock, whatever they are, those will live in infamy forever. So
It'll be a Chase jersey for sure.
yeah, that's the Diamond Dynasty. Like, how bad can I make this look? They just come up with those. Man, these aren't gonna look anything like they do in the picture, dude. What the heck? Yeah, great.
I will say about Fanatics that I hate the company just like everybody else does for what they're doing right now, but they are doing something pretty cool this year in collaboration with Topps for the cards. So they're like really rare. I think only a few have been opened so far, but they'll put in they call them redemptions in them, and it'll be like you have a code and you put it in, and then they will send you an autographed jersey. So
Oh wow,
that was pretty cool. The first one I saw today was it was Jordan Walker, and it was autographed. I'd be like, yeah, sure. Open a pack of cards, you get a freaking jersey out of it.
how many packs of cards do you think you need to open before you get to that point?
Too many to count.
It's like Willy Wonka's golden ticket. It's just not happening.
Pretty much. But with the luck that a certain Anthony Ansett has, he probably has one already. So.
Right, yeah. He declined the option to be on this show because he had to pack up so many orders from cards that he sold. So
Yeah. He's a hustler, man. He's a
he's a
hustler.
hustler. He knows that he knows the game. I'm trying to get in on the game. The card game it's a vicious one, but it seems like it's fun.
It is. It's a blast.
I need to get in on that, and I need to get in on Diamond Dynasty for real this year. I need to make it happen. We'll
Diamond
see.
Dynasty will suck you in. I'm not gonna lie.
We'll see if either one of those things happen, but I hope that it does. Moving on, we're really close to opening day, dude.
Yeah,
we're right there. I think the 20th is the first games, and it's the Seoul series, which got a little preview of that earlier this morning when the Padres went and played Team Korea in Seoul. And the first game of the regular season, first two games of the regular season, we kicked off as the Los Angeles Dodgers face off against those Padres in Seoul, South Korea. What are your thoughts on that? We talked briefly last time about how the game is going global. It's bigger than ever, and I think it's really cool that they're doing this.
yeah, I think it's great for the game in general. It's for me at least. It's definitely a interesting decision to have opening day be in a different country, but it's like
Yeah.
Personally I don't care, but I can definitely see some people whining about that. But I mean, I like it. It's great. I think that teams should do it more. I mean, they have been doing it for a while too. I mean, the Yankees back in I think it was maybe the 50s or something. They went to Japan and they played there, and they just like kind of made baseball blow up there. So
Yeah, absolutely.
the more they do this, the better it is for the game. I mean, we're already seeing a couple Korean guys popping off. I know Ah-Sung Kim. It's probably gonna be really cool for him playing there in in Seoul. And I know they just got Jung-Woo Lee on the Giants.
Yep.
Pretty exciting guy. I was hoping the Yankees were going to get him, but Steinbrenner fell asleep apparently. But yeah, I like it. It's good idea. And I know that like they played in Mexico last year in Mexico City,
Yep.
and that from all I heard, it was a pretty big success. So the more they keep doing it, the better it'll be. Especially after the excitement around the World Baseball Classic last year. I think that really opened a lot of eyes to the game. So the more the merrier for me.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. And just talking about the World Baseball Classic, I think a lot of people were surprised that it ended the way it did with the USA team losing to Team Japan. When, and again, I think this is because of the way I was raised and the people that were in my life. But for a long time, it's been understood Japan has maybe the second best baseball players in the world. And so it's awesome seeing that. It's awesome seeing guys like Otani, Yamamoto, Darvish, whoever else make the jump to the majors. And in Korea, I remember during COVID, like Korean baseball was the only thing on ESPN other than cornhole. So it's cool to see that fan base growing and that pool of players growing as well. More people, more teams investing into the Pacific market and into Korea in general. It's gonna kind of suck for American baseball fans because I think Dodgers and Padres fans will have to be up at like 3 a.m. if they want to watch that game on. I think it's Tuesday. So, if you're into that, cool. If not, then whatever. But
I mean, it's weird too, because isn't it like spring training's still going to be going on when that game happens, right?
yeah, they're going to be kicking it off, and it's going to be another couple of days until other teams follow suit. And I'm going to get this correct because I would hate to do that, but the rest of opening day matchups are March 28th. So yeah, it's going to be a couple of days after, and the 20th, I believe, is when the Padres and the Dodgers are squaring off in Korea. Going to get a confirmation on that. Thursday, March 28th is officially opening day for the rest of the teams, and Yeah, March 20th through 21st is going to be the Seoul series. So kind of interesting, but I think it'll be a nice preview. And then I do feel bad, like those teams are going to have to go to Korea, stay in Korea, and then make the jump back to LA and San Diego and make their seasonal debuts in the United States. It's going to be a rough couple of weeks for those teams, but
they're talented enough. They can handle it.
right, yeah, I'm talking with experience. Like I don't even like playing the next day after I play one game, So I don't know about you. I'm still a little beat up from the feet up after our demolishing on Friday. So
Yeah, I thought my arm was gonna explode when we were playing, but hey, it feels fine now. I must have the Wolverine regenerative powers or something, dude.
I knew it. I knew it. Got a couple other notable matchups. I had a couple written down. Got the Cubs and the Rangers facing off. It'll, of course, be the Rangers' first game since their World Series victory. It'll be in Texas, so I'm sure they'll have their ring ceremony and whatnot before the game. And the Cubs are, I think everyone in the NL Central at this point is kind of through their rebuilds and are finally looking to be competitive outside the division. And the Cubs are certainly one of those teams, so that'll be fun to watch. Got the Braves going to Philadelphia, two high-powered offenses featuring two of the best players in baseball. Ronald Acuna Jr., hopefully he makes the opening day cut with his injury problems. And, of course, Bryce Harper, who is on pace again to kill some baseballs. So, any others that stood out to you? Who do the Yankees got?
I don't even know. If I'm not gonna lie to you, I can't be that excited about Yankee baseball until Garrett Cole comes back. Because other than that, I'm just like, come on. But their first game, first game Astros. I mean, come on. They play 4 straight against them. I mean, I'm a certified Astros hater, even though I own one of their jerseys. But it'll be interesting. They haven't even named who their opening day starter is. I know for some reason Marcus Stroman went on record and said that he's not going to be the opening day starter. I don't know if that's him telling the team that or just saying that he's not going to pitch, but I don't think anybody knows. So it's probably going to be Nestor, I guess. The Yankees, man, they really let me down.
It's definitely not Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I mean, I think that injury is going to be worse than people think too, because he's not going to be able to throw for months. I mean, that's bad.
Yeah,
especially considering how much of his game is his velocity. I mean,
yeah, and it's just strange too. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and it's not something they saw in an MRI. He's just sore. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's interesting to see where he's at with that, but
yeah. Well, I guess it was like an issue with the recovery. Like he would pitch, and he would be fine, and then your elbow's sore and inflamed a little bit, like it always is when you're playing. But I guess his was just not like he was just not recovering at all. It was still painful, but come his next start. So hopefully they don't rush him back into playing, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. I know we open up against the Marlins, which I hate. I hate opening up in Miami because it's gonna be nice and warm, and then we're gonna come back, and I think we have DC after that. We have the Nationals. Get a little bit colder, and then April 5th, I'm gonna be there opening day. First time I've ever been at a Pirates home opener. It's probably gonna be cold and wet, and I don't think we're going to do too well against Baltimore, but I'm itching to see. So, how important do you think it is for teams to get off to a good start at the beginning of the season?
I think it's very undervalued. I mean, for me personally, just like from memory, 2 years ago, the Yankees were on pace to have like the best record ever, and then the wheels fell off. But if they didn't have that, if they didn't have that hot start, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. And I think that a lot of teams need to get that hot start just in case when the injuries start creeping up. You'll be able to still make it to the playoffs. And the more you win now, the more you can rest your guys later on in the season. I mean, you don't want to rush people back from injury. You don't want to keep playing guys like Harper every single game if you don't have to. I mean,
Right.
he's going to play either way, but like give him a day off here and there. So it's very important. I think to me, I'd say it's more important than finishing hot in the season. You got to set the tone.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's one of those things that's got to be a great balancing act because I know we started off really hot last year, and then stuff like you said, injuries came up, players were out, and then we never picked it back up. I think it's incredible for a team to be able to start bad and then pick it up in the dog days in the middle of the summer and finish on a hot streak. I think I value that more than a hot start. I think, it's important to set the tone. But I think more often than not, good teams emerge from bad teams anyway. And I think as a player, you can tell too if you're playing a bad team because I know Kutch said, uh, he said during the spring training when he was on the Brewers, he was playing the Pirates a couple of years ago. He was like, "This is really not a bad team. Bad teams don't play like this or whatever." So they have better insight to that obviously than fans do. But I like to finish strong personally.
I mean, just thinking about it.
I like to have a perfect season to be completely honest. But
start hot, finish hot.
yeah.
It actually, I remember having this conversation actually last year with a couple buddies, but before the season ended, it was probably before the All-Star break. We were talking about the Rangers, and because they were like on fire to start the season, and that was, I mean, they were unbelievable, and we were like, I didn't expect them to win the World Series, but it was more so like they can finish like if they can suck basically and then still make the playoffs, but they were fighting like Houston for something. Or maybe it wasn't Houston. I don't know, but it was just like their division like lead. And,
I think it was Houston for the division title.
Yeah, and it was shocking because they had started so hot and then ended kind of meh, and then ended up just winning the World Series anyway.
Yeah.
So. It must be nice.
and still, I think they still lost that race to Houston as well for the division.
I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah.
It's
But
always going to be one of those
like
things.
A crazy lead too.
Yeah.
In the division lead. So the fact that they blew it and then still ended up winning the World Series it's crazy. And honestly, it's strange to me, but I feel like no one is really talking about the Rangers that much. Like outside of like baseball circles, I don't know a whole lot of people. They're like, "Hey, Rangers," I'm like, it's like they won, and you could ask a random guy on the street that vaguely knows baseball, and he would not be able to tell you that the Rangers won the World Series last year.
Well, I think it's always, and even still that they won the World Series, I think they're going to be second fiddle to Houston. And obviously the second biggest attraction in their city next to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Maybe even third when the Mavericks are hot, and that's why I was more than happy that they won because that's as big of a city that they're in. That's like a small market team. Everything they're competing with in that area and in that division, I was more than happy to see them win.
Yeah.
And I think too, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, And they caught an insanely lucky streak, of baseball there at the end of the year, and just came on fire at the right time and had momentum in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, and especially the way that they did it, I mean, they called up Evan Carter late in the season, and he ended up just tearing it up. Like
Yeah.
the amount of faith they had in their guys before they had even played in the MLB and still did all that is just it's really, really great. Just like team building. So shout out to their GM. I wish he was on the Yankees, but and I mean it's crazy too because they had the third overall pick in the draft last year
Yeah.
and took Wyatt Langford, who
And now that dude is set to be on fire as well, and is
yeah,
probably going to make the opening day roster.
definitely. I mean, that's another thing that set the Tigers' little circle on fire because people were not happy about them taking Max Clark over Wyatt Langford because I love Max Clark a lot. I'm a huge buyer into his stock, but
Yeah.
he's out of high school, whatever. Wyatt Langford is MLB ready already, so I just
Right. But,
I don't.
on the flip side, though, if the Tigers had taken Wyatt Langford, would that team be able to compete like the Rangers
No.
can? So, I'm sure that's what their thinking was. Like, let's not waste this dude's prime just to not be able to compete even within our own division.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, when you're employing Javier Baez in the year 2024, don't expect to be a good baseball team.
Yeah. Easier said than done. Um, again, Wyatt Langford is one of those guys that I think is going to be great. And, when we talk about great players come up all the time. And there's, I think, more now than ever, just so much great talent coming out of all corners of the world, whether it's the Pacific or high school kids, college kids, whatever it may be. There's great players everywhere. But we wanted to discuss some of those under the radar players that could emerge this season as, who knows, dark horse MVP favorites, gold glovers, silver sluggers, whatever it may be. So I got a couple. I know you've got a couple. I will say I was a little biased with my picks. I've been writing about the Pirates for some time now, so I pay attention to them the most. So, again, we talked about him earlier, but O'Neal Cruz, I think, is going to have a great year. I just did an article about him the other day talking about how great he's going to be, and people are still dogging me for his defensive capabilities or lack thereof. Like, oh, what is he really doing that wrong, dude? I'm running 100 miles per hour in the infield. All right, he's not that bad. Is he a Gold Glover? No, I don't think so. But it doesn't matter. He's 6'7". He's got like a 6'8" wingspan. He can more than make up for his lack of defensive capabilities.
I mean, they could just do what the Padres did with Tatis, just move him into the field. Tatis won a platinum glove last year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that's in the realm of possibilities. I think the spot in right field is up for competition. I don't think he's been playing any outfield. I think they intend to keep him at shortstop. But we'll see. He hasn't played a full MLB season yet. Of course, he only played 9 games last year before he shattered his leg on a, again, ridiculous call. I don't know why he was ever called home in the first place in that situation. But I think a full season of him, he's going to be a guy who can easily get 20-plus home runs. He's going to be a threat to steal bases. He's going to be a threat to get on base. He's going to be great. I can't wait for him. Can't wait for his 2024. A guy who kind of emerged late last year and did end up winning a Gold Glove for the first time in his career, Brian Hayes, our third baseman. When you talk about
he is on my list as well.
Is he? Nice.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Now I know ball too. I don't know about you, but when you talk about a guy who's supposed to be this franchise player and has all these expectations in front of him, he's been kind of not living up to them. Not in my opinion. This is other people's opinions. This is other Yinzers' opinions. If this is a guy that you're giving this much money to, then why is he not hitting 30 home runs and, X, Y, and Z offensively? And I'm still under the impression that you pay a guy to be the player that he is. You're not asking him to do something he can't do. And he's the best defensive third baseman in all of baseball. That showed last year when he won a Gold Glove. But his batting did come to show in the later part of the season and did end up finishing with a decent stat line. I think if he can start the way he finished last year and build upon those blocks, he's going to be maybe a dark horse MVP favorite.
I just put him up there because I've always liked him. I know that his big season, quote unquote, was that 2020 year that was odd to say the least. But
right.
I just think that the game, he was just not letting it come to him. He was just taking it too fast, and I think he's matured a lot in the way that his approach at the plate is, from what I've seen recently. So I really like him. I think that people need to temper their expectations of guys hitting 30 home runs all the time. Yeah. But I think he's up there. He'll probably win another Gold Glove. Now that Arenado's washed and Machado's blah, whatever. But yeah, I like him. I like him. He's a good ball player.
That's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Last two on my list, and there's a lot of media hype around him. So I don't know if he's under the radar, but he's making his MLB debut. Obviously, I'm really interested to see how Yamamoto does as the Dodgers pitcher. I'm interested to see where they put him in the rotation. I don't know if that's been revealed yet as far as where he'll start at. But I know he had some good starts in spring training. I know he had some not so good starts in spring training. So I think if he could put it together, I mean, he's one of the best Japanese pitchers of all time, at least in recent memory. So I'm really interested to see what he does against MLB batters.
Yeah, I didn't even put him on my list just because I think he's on everybody's radar no matter what. I think that people want him to fail because he's on the Dodgers, but at the same time, I don't really care that he's on the Dodgers. I think it's sweet that they are he's teaming up with Ohtani, and just like even when I went to the Angels game 2 years ago, the culture definitely changes at those games. Like they had an entire stand designated for people that were just there to see Ohtani.
Oh, really?
In right field, yeah.
Wow.
So it's definitely great to see, but yeah, I'm excited to see how he does. I know that oh my God, why does it keep happening? But I know that a lot of the times those guys come over and they're just not ready for MLB talent, but I think you'll be fine. I don't have the highest of expectations this year, but to be honest, it doesn't matter because that Dodgers team is just too good. I mean,
right.
I keep forgetting
100 plus wins.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that they traded for Glasnow, and he's unbelievable. He has some of the nastiest breaking balls I've seen, but I think so. For me, I've already mentioned it a little bit, but Tarek Skubal is the first one on my list, and I think that he's gonna at least be top 5 Cy Young if he stays healthy. I think he's just phenomenal. If he wasn't on Detroit, I think that I think that people would give him a little more respect. I think I mentioned him to Anstat the other day because he was like, who's winning the Cy Young this year? And I was like, Tarek Skubal. He almost laughed me out of the building, but I was like, I was serious. I think he's got it in him. He just needs to stay on the field, which hasn't really been an issue with him in his career so far. So if the Tigers aren't atrocious, he could win it even with a losing record. I remember a while ago when DeGrom was on the Mets, he won a Cy Young, and He had more losses than wins, but he had like a 2 ERA. It might have even been lower than that. But moving past him, I do have Nolan Gorman on the Cardinals. I think that with Arenado kind of getting phased out just because he's getting old, I think that his time is now for offense. He's a huge power threat. I think he can hit 30 home runs pretty easily this year. The only problem is that he strikes out a lot, which is to be expected from a young guy that's hitting a lot of home runs, but he looks solid. I like him a lot. Hopefully, it's just strange because they kind of have a logjam at third, but they're playing him at second a lot or DHing because they've got Jordan Walker, they've got Arenado, and then Gorman at third. So they got to figure something out there. I think the plan is eventually to just trade Arenado or something. The next one I have on my list is Jared Kelnick, who I'm a big fan of. I actually saw him, I think 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year. He was playing for I think it was the AAA like finals or whatever that they have in Vegas.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He hit a bomb, but I think that him getting traded to Atlanta and he's gonna go to the freaking Braves lab where they recreate players and all of a sudden they're all stars. I think that he had a pretty good season last year, as is, but he just needs to have more consistency. I think for like a month he was hitting like around 400 and was on pace for like 50 home runs.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's going to do that at all, but
him and Acuna in a race for 60 did?
Yeah,
maybe?
Honestly. They're going to break the total home run record. Honestly, they might actually do that with Ozuna and Albies. I mean, that team, Sean Murphy, that team is unbelievable. I don't know how they did that, and I don't know how they got some of those guys on such cheap contracts. I know every time I look at Ronald Acuna's contract, I'm like, this guy needs to fire his agent. But yeah, him, those guys. The last one I had, which I have to scroll to find, is, oh my gosh, I can't move my arm. Goodness sakes.
It'll be the last time it happens, I swear.
I know. The last one I have is Anthony Volpe.
Oh,
just because,
nice.
Just because he disappointed a lot of Yankee fans. He didn't disappoint me, but I know that playing shortstop at 22 for the Yankees is like, it's probably not a harder job in the MLB.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, but people just saw he wasn't hitting 300, and everyone automatically wrote him off. But a lot of people don't realize that the kid had 20 steals, 20 home runs in his rookie season. I mean, and he played 161 games out of 162. So as long as and also they fired their hitting coach midseason and then hired another one and then fired him in the offseason. So he's been in the majors for a year and he's already had 3 hitting coaches. So if they just let him do his thing, then he'll be fine. But I'd like to see him get his average up for sure. And he can replicate everything else. I mean, he won a Gold Glove his rookie year, and 20 home runs, 20 steals. You can't complain about that. So I think if he gets his average up, then it's possible he's an all-star. So
yeah, no, things are not that bad. Obviously, with an organization like the Yankees, ownership, coaches, fans have an expectation of how their stars should be playing. But on a team that wasn't very good last year, we're missing a lot of key players, he still shined, in my opinion. And that's been a big headline I've seen, is him getting back to basics as far as batting goes and working on those things that he struggled with last year.
Yeah, it's just like you got to have consistency around you too. And when the whole team is getting hurt, and he's the only one out there that's trotting out there every game, it's hard to get a good foot in the ground when everything around you is changing. When you have a different hitting coach every month. You got Aaron Boone, who's probably going to get fired this year, hopefully. I know. I mean, Judge, freak accident at Dodger Stadium, stubbing his toe. Now he has a career-altering injury. So, it's just need to get more consistency around him, and then they'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Get a little more consistency, get a little more glue, a little more chemistry, all those things, because things are changing all the time. And what should be changing is what podcast you're tuning into. For all the best baseball updates, news, period, should be tuning into Small Market Baseball, because this wraps up another great episode. Holland, I appreciate you stepping up on late notice. Guys, let me know what you think. This could be a permanent fixture. We could have Holland in the majors full time. Maybe put him on a 10-day, see what we can do with him, see if he can develop. But as always, thank you for tuning into Small Market Baseball, your new favorite baseball podcast where birds of a feather talk ball together. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Holland, again, thank you. I appreciate it. And we will be seeing you guys soon. Peace.
Of course.
Yay!